statements. You've probably heard the term. I wanted to tell you how I see them, so you know what my expectations would be for any essays that you write for me. Any academic writing that you do in an American or British college or university, any professional writing that's academic writing, anything that's called an essay, all of those things are going to have thesis statements in it. It doesn't mean any writing that you do in the world will have a thesis statement, but any essay you do will. A thesis statement isn't going to be the first thing that you write. We've been in class already doing the things that you do before you write a thesis statement. Thinking about a topic, talking about a topic, free writing about a topic, doing discussion board posts about a topic. These are ways that you explore your own thoughts to find out what the thing that you have to say is. What the thesis statement is like the backbone of your paper. It's the spine that everything else in your paper is connected to. It's the main idea of your paper. It's the topic of your paper. I'm going to put up a screen share. Thesis statements are a topic plus a point of view. So the topic of your paper might be cats. This paper is about cats. But your thesis statement isn't going to have the word about in it. You don't just say this paper is about cats, or this paper is about my bloody life, or this paper is about gangs. A thesis statement also has a point of view in it. For some people, it's helpful to think about that as an argument, but it isn't necessarily always an argument. I don't say arguments partly because I don't want people to think that it's a fight, or that someone is right and someone is wrong, and your job is to prove that someone else is wrong. It's your point of view on the topic, your perspective. So if your paper is about cats, your perspective on cats might be that cats are better pets than dogs, or cats add a lot to your life, or all senior citizen homes should have cats in them. What is your perspective on cats? When you put your topic together with your point of view, you get a thesis statement. If the topic of my paper was the city of Chicago, and my argument was, my point of view was that the beaches in Chicago should not be closed, then my thesis statement could be the beaches in Chicago should not be closed. Your thesis statement also is something that needs to be demonstrable with words. Partly, I just like to say the word demonstrable. It means that with words, you have to be able to show that your perspective has validity, that you have good reasons for believing the thing that you believe, for seeing your topic the way that you do. If you can't do that with words, you can't use it as a thesis statement. The other thing that it needs to do is be something that a reasonable person could see differently. So, for instance, if you wanted to make an argument that said something like freedom is good or racism is bad, and there's no reasonable person that disagrees with those things, then there's no point in your paper existing. You don't have a purpose for the paper. Who are you talking to? Who are you trying to convince? Who needs to hear your opinion? If the only person who sees your topic differently than you do is a Nazi, you can leave them out of the conversation. So it has to be something that a reasonable person could see differently. It also has to be about the right size and length for the essay that you're writing. If your thesis statement was something like racism is bad, you probably couldn't do that in a 3-page paper, because there are more reasons that racism is bad and more evidence for racism being bad than you could include in an entire book. So it doesn't work well for a short paper. The sort of scope of your argument needs to match the length of the work that you're doing. 10-page papers have different thesis statements than 3-page papers. Once you write your thesis statement, what you're indicating, I'm going to close this, pause the screen if you want to keep looking at it. What your thesis statement indicates to someone is that everything in your paper, every single thing, is going to be supporting that one idea, demonstrating why that one idea has validity and why you see things the way that you do. Nothing that doesn't support your thesis statement belongs in your essay. Usually, the thesis statement goes as the last sentence of your introduction. That's where it belongs. That's where a professor or a professional reader is going to look for it first. That doesn't mean you can't break that rule, but it means that then you have to indicate in some other way where your thesis statement is. When I'm grading your paper, that's where I'm going to look for it first. Once you state your thesis statement in the last sentence of your intro, you're telling me or any other reader that everything else in this paper is going to be connected to that thesis statement in some way. It's going to be showing me why that perspective is the perspective that you hold. If it doesn't, if something in your paper, you need it in your paper, and it doesn't demonstrate that perspective, it doesn't go in your paper, or you change your thesis statement. Thesis statement matches the paper. Yeah, that's it. That's thesis statements in a nutshell.